How to buy real estate when there's a crash? What all you real estate bears have been waiting for. Stay tuned to this week's episode of Prime Property. Promise you, we're worth it. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Property. So glad you could join us here. I found out recently that I was named top 30 under 30 in all realtors in the eastern part of Canada in RE/MAX. So look, it's me right here. So big thanks to all of you guys for watching, supporting our channel, our business, and our team. And also a big thank you to the fiance behind the camera for putting up with my ridiculousness. Thanks. As always, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. The button's right here to stay up to date with the latest and greatest real estate tips and tricks from me, yourself. So in my business, there are 3 questions I get asked the most. 1, how's the market? 2, when's the crash coming? 3, find me a deal. Unless you nag me a lot, I would generally avoid answering number 2, when's the crash coming? Because it's a very long-winded and elaborate answer. However, I'm gonna take today's episode to explain to you when's the crash coming and why it's such a loaded question. Technically, a crash is when prices drop by 20%, and we really haven't seen that since the 90s, so I'm not really getting into stats about all of that because I've done it before. Can we get there? Yeah, we can. Is there a chance? Maybe. Like, no matter how small, it can still happen. I find most of the time the real underlying reason why so many people ask when's the crash coming is because there's an overarching concern that real estate prices in Toronto and the surrounding area has gone so expensive it's become unaffordable for the average Torontonian. So a proverbial crash, and I'm gonna be making a lot of air quotes today, is supposed to help you get into the market. Now, let's say there is a crash. Tomorrow's prices drop by 50% when you wake up. The media is writing all over the place about how we're in a real estate crisis. Canada's GDP drops, interest rates are over 10%, everyone's listing a property, everyone's freaking out. There is panic in the air. Are you really going to buy real estate when you hear all this kind of news? Psychologically, you're gonna get affected. Are you gutsy enough to do that? That's a question only you can answer. From the information I gathered, very few people who were actually buying real estate in US during the 2008 financial crisis, they were super gutsy and they had to be very strategic in the way they did it to actually profit from it. The other thought process that people don't really consider, and this is the main thing I want to drive home to you guys today, is if there is something that led to a 50% price drop in real estate prices, I can tell you with confidence that it's likely due to a lack of credit. This means that the banks and the lenders are no longer giving out money anymore to buy real estate. The mortgage faucet has been turned off. Remember, if you are the gutsiest person in the world, you still need money to buy real estate in a crash. Unless you have all cash, you still require a mortgage. So let's say prices do drop 50% tomorrow. That puts your average Torontonian property at $375,000. Traditionally, during non-crash times, you would put 5 to 20% down as the purchase. So, with 20% down, you're looking at $75,000 to buy a property. Well, when there is a crash and the credit freezes, where are you going to get the other $300,000 to purchase the property? The banks definitely won't be lending it to you so liberally anymore if that's what caused the crash. So the question becomes, if there is a crash, will you have $375,000 cold, hard cash to purchase the property outright? If that's your saving grace for getting into the market, if you haven't already. Oh, plus the massive courage to buy it when there is a complete meltdown. Now, that's the problem. The solution for the workaround for those who want it is actually this. In theory, and this is all theory, if you own property right now, you should 100% get a line of credit or a HELOC against your property. Even if you don't want to invest it or mobilize any of that equity, you should get one. The main reason is if there is a crash and you really think you're going to buy it, you're going to need that line of credit to do it. And you want to do this and move your money from that line of credit into a different bank before they freeze that line of credit. And trust me, in a crash, they 100% will. So if you owned any property for over 10 years, there's a ton of equity you're probably sitting on that you can turn into a line of credit and get it ready to buy if there is a crash. The challenge with this is so many people who ask me, when's the crash coming, often don't have real estate to leverage in a situation like that. So it's unfortunate for them because they're the main ones concerned with the prices. That's why the proverbial crash for first-time homebuyers is really not going to help you get into the market. However, if you're waiting on the sideline with $100,000 to $200,000 in capital, you're kind of caught in between shirt sizes. You have capital on one hand, but you have no real estate to leverage on the other. So if a crash comes, you're kind of in between. What I would recommend you is call us. My phone number is right here so we can get you into the market, plan accordingly for the worst case scenario so that when the time comes, if you think it is and you want to, you can buy in the crash. I hope this helps. Until next time, guys, happy real estating.